This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Today's discussion is Disney jumps 5 key points. And here's what's going on with Disney. And some of this is short-term positivity, some of it's longer-term positivity. But at the end of the day, a lot of kudos to Bob Iger, who's really talented and really has a big ego, but a lot of kudos to him. We'll talk about this in a second. So first, Disney jumped 11.5% yesterday. Their stock jumped 11.5% yesterday on just showing that they can get back to operating profits and more efficiency. Second, Disney's up 22.5% year to date. That's obviously outpacing the NASDAQ and the S&P by a great deal. Third, great article in Fortune magazine. Bob Iger, the 72-year-old CEO, has come back for a second term, is righting the ship at Disney, is what Fortune writes. Fourth, the earnings beat expectations in the fourth quarter, and that's good. That just shows discipline. Fifth, one of the things that's impressive about the discipline is revenues were flat for the quarter. So even though revenues were flat, they got earnings way back in the right direction by being much more careful on cost. This reminds me of so many businesses. Once you sort of see where your revenue line is, you've got to decide, or you've got to decide to keep your expenses even or get them in line to be able to keep that profitable wherever your revenue line is at. And what small businesses bringing in $50,000 or having expense of $50,000 a month, they got to hold the line on those expenses and get the revenues to that spot to make that work. It's the same with large businesses. Sooner or later, you got to take your revenue versus expenses very seriously and your P&L very seriously. You can't just keep on growing expenses without discipline. Bob Iger doing a great job of bringing creativity and discipline back to Disney. So kudos to Bob Iger on these results. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast.